Arizona Science is supported by Research Corporation for Science Advancement.
For Arizona Public Media, I'm Leslie Tolbert, Regents Professor Emerita in Neuroscience at the University of Arizona, and this is Arizona Science. Today our guest is Jessica Tierney, a professor in the Department of Geosciences. Jessica is an award-winning climate scientist with particular expertise in paleoclimatology, the study of the Earth's climate in the past. She'll be the third speaker in this season's College of Science public lecture series, which is focusing on myth-busting science. Jessica, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Let's start with an overview of your areas of research. Maybe you could first define the term paleoclimate. You're a paleoclimatologist. How far back in time do you go?
Paleoclimatology is just a fancy word for studying ancient climate change. So climate changes that occurred in the geological past.
So how far back does your own research take you?
My research is typically relatively recent for a geologist, focusing on the last 60 million years of Earth history, which is still a long time. Yeah.
And you focus on the last 60 million years because there's something particular about that period, or because it's the most recent 60 million years?
Well, as a general rule, we always know more about climates that are, less far away from where we are now. But in the last 60 million years, there's actually a couple of very, very warm climates. And we're interested in those for obvious reasons, which is that we're headed into a warmer climate right now as a consequence of human-caused climate change. And we don't know everything about what is going to happen. We do have computer models that help us predict what might happen, how temperatures and rainfall patterns will change. But those models are not perfect, and sometimes they give us a variety of results. So the advantage of going back to these ancient warm climates is we can actually study what happens when Earth's carbon dioxide levels are like today or even higher than today.
And give us a sense of some of the things you're finding. What does your research allow you to predict already?
We focus on reconstructing temperature. Of course, that's a really important climate variable. And we work on reconstructing temperature in the oceans in particular, the oceans being 70% of Earth's surface. They obviously kind of push the climate system around. So when we go back to these ancient climates, we're interested in how warm were the tropics, how warm were the high latitudes. Those two areas of the planet warm by different amounts. Usually the higher latitudes warm more. And then we're also interested, of course, in the patterns of rainfall. Water is everything. I think we all know that living here in the Southwest. It's quite important. And what we have found so far is some pretty surprising changes in the water cycle in these ancient warm climates.
What are you trying to get across to us today? What will you be trying to get across in your College of Science talk about what you learned from the past helps you think about what's happening right now, but doesn't give you a clear path forward? How do you use the data you're collecting to help all of us in the room understand what we need to do to mitigate the worst of what may be coming?
Fundamentally, the Earth's climate past is the only real-world example we have of what happens when greenhouse gases are higher. We can ask our models to simulate that, but if we want to know what really happened on the ground, the geological record is the evidence. It's the only hard evidence we have. So we have to study it in order to refine our predictions of the future. Now, at the lecture, because it's myth-busting, right, I'm focusing on busting a myth that is a comment that I've gotten a lot, that I also see on social media still, which is, why are we so worried about global warming? Because it has been warmer than today in Earth's past. So what's the problem, right? Carbon dioxide levels have been higher than today. It's been warmer. Why are we so concerned about it if Earth has been fine under that condition before? Now, I think most people are familiar with why that isn't a totally clean argument, right? But that's going to be the focus of my talk, that basically, yes, it has been warmer in the past. Carbon dioxide levels have been higher. That's true. But it doesn't mean that we should not be worried.
Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Jessica Tierney is an expert on the history of the Earth's climate and will be giving the College of Science public lecture on February 15. You can listen to this and all Arizona Science conversations at azpm.org/Arizona Science. I'm Leslie Tolbert.
Thank you to Research Corporation for Science Advancement for their support of Arizona Science.